While I was spring cleaning my room, I found a piece of my childhood memories. It was this scrapbook, my Genting Highlands Scrappity book. I'm sure a lot of you know what Genting Highland has by now. You know, amusement parks, cable cars, and other stuff. It was a pretty memorable family vacation, which I decided to preserve them in a scrapbook. Who knows, someday when I'm older, I could look back on this vacation and say, wow, I rode a donkey. Before I begin, I want to point out that I was 8 when I made this scrapbook, so I apologize in advance for the massive misspelled words and horrible drawings. Alright, here we go. So on the cover, you will see that I wrote Najwa's Memories, Adventure Memories. And at the bottom, I wrote Genting Highland and Scrappity Book. Now back then, I actually called this book Scrappity Book. It all came from the movie Winnie the Pooh, Piglet's Big Movie. Now in the movie, Piglet made a scrapbook of all his adventures, but when Rabbit, Tigger, Pooh, and Eeyore got attacked by a bunch of angry bees, Piglet went out to search for them. But what happened was, the gang thought that Piglet was the one in trouble, and they decided to go look for him by using his scrapbook.
Since this is a book of Piglet's memories, maybe it remembers where Piglet is.
There's this part in the movie where Tigger called the scrapbook Scrappity Book.
That Scrappity Book does know where he's going.
I thought it was pretty cute, so that's how this scrapbook got its name. At the bottom, you will notice that I drew a big heart. The heart originally did not have a face with hair and a random bee sitting on its nose. I got bored one day and somehow I had the thought about destroying my own art. It could use a face. And some hair. Ooh, and a little bee on top of her nose, 'cause why not, right? On the first page, you'll see a picture of 2 girls, and they were supposed to be me and my sister. I did not know what was going on in my head back then, but somehow I thought it was a good idea to draw a human head that resembles a vase. And here I wrote my bestest sister and me. Well, duh, I only have one. Moving on, this is the first drawing of our trip to the amusement park. I called it Flying Swing. It was just one of those swing rides that rotates, make it look like you're flying. I don't know what to call it back then. I just go what my mind tells me. I also wrote Genting Highland and Tempat Permainan. I wasn't very good at English back then, so I tend to use some Malay. Notice this green dot right here? That was my sister. I didn't go on the ride because I was too scared of heights, but my sister, she was the brave one. She went on it twice, but then something came up. I'll get to that later. Next picture. So this is a dragon roller coaster. Again, I apologize for the terrible spelling. I was 8. I called it a dragon roller coaster because it was a dragon themed roller coaster. I didn't remember going on this ride, but I did remember getting excited by it because I thought it was just like a real life dragon. Mom, Dad, look! It's a real dragon! It's the coolest thing I've ever seen! Moving along, this is the next drawing. It's a bum car. I think I was supposed to write bumper car, but the thing is, it's not the bumper car where you ride on it and bump to other people's car in a large ring. No. This bumper car has its own tracks that goes through different places, like in a cave and waterfalls and jungles. And it's called bumper car because we're the ones who drives the car. So the person at the back can simply bump the car in front if they were slow. Get out of the way, slowpoke! I'm obeying the law! It also has a steering wheel, but it was useless anyways because the car was moving on a track and we don't have to control wherever it goes. So, next picture. This is the flying saucer. It was one of those giant mechanical octopus-like rides that has spaceships on each of its hands and rotates around. It was a slow-moving ride, which was safe for kids my age. I didn't get scared on this ride, but mostly because I went on it with my mom. This next one is spinning cup. Pretty self-explanatory. You get on the ride, it rotates around, and so is the cup you're sitting in, and it is meant to make you dizzy and puke. I didn't puke though. I was a strong little girl. Moving on, This next one is a car roller coaster, mainly because instead of a long car, it has individual cars that holds two people. I remember when on this ride with my dad. It was my first roller coaster ever, and I was scared to go alone, or even with my sister. I don't trust her. So this next one is the highlight of our trip, the snow house. It's an attraction where they filled a large room with shaved ice so we could experience what it feels like to play around with artificial snow. Even though it was fake, it was my favorite part of the amusement park. They gave you everything, thick jacket, gloves, and boots so you won't slip. And then we entered the oversized freezer. Apart from the ice, they also had other fun stuff like sliding down the ice using floaties. But I didn't get to do that because my dad thinks it's unsafe. So we just stomp around and try to throw ice balls at each other. We then took a family photo with a fake snowman. And on top of that, they gave out free ice cream in there. As if the artificial snow was not cold enough, they wanted us to feel the cold deep into our brains. Oh, brain freeze! This next drawing is of me riding not a horse, not a pony, but a donkey. I don't know if they didn't have enough budget for a horse ride or they just think that donkeys are small and perfect for kids my age. Now, donkeys are known to be just as strong as horses, but when I rode it, I felt kind of bad. The donkey I rode was kind of small. Throughout the ride, I kept hoping that the donkey didn't have a bad day and decided to kick the thing that's weighing him at the time. Luckily, he was fine, little donkey, and I'm glad I didn't get strike. Moving along, this one is a drawing of a merry-go-round, but I spelled it as merry-go-round. English was not my mother tongue anyways, so I just sounded out the words regardless of its spelling. Now, merry-go-rounds are supposed to look like this, but I draw my merry-go-rounds to look like this. A straight line that could be the pole, and only the upper half of the horse. What? I was lazy. Next was a drawing of a train ride that looked like a caterpillar, but I realized that I named it Choo-Choo Worm, when it's obviously a caterpillar. We didn't write this, but I was excited to see it, so I drew it anyways. Next was a picture of a Burger King restaurant. Basically, we had our lunch there, and last but not least, a drawing of a waterboat ride. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you what happened after my sister went on the flying swing twice. The amusement park was located on a hill. My sister was already dizzy from the flying swing ride, and going down the spiral hill was not helping her situation. She threw up right after we got out of the taxi. And that's not all. When we got to our rooms, she realized that she lost her purse. Apparently, she puts her purse inside the pocket of her jacket. Now, the pockets were not deep enough to put stuff in it. It's just to rest our hands. So when she was on the flying swing, the purse must have fallen off. Luckily, there was nothing important in there. Except maybe the 300 ringgit she got from Hari Raya. Sorry, big sis. So that is all the adventures we had in Genting Highland. I realized that I only scrapbooked this typical vacation, but it's okay. I'm glad I did. Even though it's not perfect, but it feels good looking back on my younger self's work. I'm no artist or cartoonist or anything, but I do know one thing. I love to draw, and I draw what I feel.